Hello, this is Lady Boulay, and I hope you're having a great day. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you for your comments, and thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you for all you do to support the channel. And yes, we are commanded to love one another, whether we want to or not, or whether we agree with each other or not. So, Black immigrants now seem to be surprised that Black Americans have decided to delineate. And they think that it's because Black Americans are xenophobic, or you hate Africans, or you don't like this, or you think you're privileged, or you think you're better than everybody else. No, it's none of that. Black Americans have been watching Black immigrants to the United States for 25 or 30 years. They did not know they were being watched. They did not know that their behaviors were being observed. They thought they were just going to come here and assimilate into American society and behave like they behave in Africa, that they don't have to use manners. And I say that because when you're in Rome, you do as the Romans. When you come to America, you have to behave in the manner that Americans say is appropriate, especially when you come here uninvited. Some people come here illegally, and you come with the attitude that, well, this is how we do it in Nigeria, or this is how we do it in wherever you came from. And so everybody has to adapt to my way of doing things. That's not the way it works. Now, as Black Americans whose family members came through the slave system, people assume that we are dumb, that we don't know anything, or that we're not citizens. We recently learned that people think that we aren't citizens, that we were going to be up first for deportation. And it has been a colossal disappointment to many that we're not going to be deported. No matter how many others get deported, we're not going to be deported, not under the system that we're living now. The Constitution would have to be changed for Black Americans to be legally deported from the United States. And Donald Trump cannot change the Constitution, and neither can the Supreme Court. So it was shocking to many that they were the ones on shaky ground and not us. But back to my point. Delineation by Black Americans is happening for a number of reasons, not just one reason. Now, my generation was one of the generations that watched. You can ask almost any Black American, beginning at the age of, say, 40, all the way up to however old they are, and you ask them if they have been in contact with Black immigrants from the Caribbean or from Africa, especially from Africa. They're going to tell you that those people think they're better than Black Americans, that they are not friendly, and that they don't use good manners. Now, the average Black American will tell you that, and they won't even be mad. They'll just point it out. This is how they behave around us. Black Americans have also noticed how these Black immigrants behave around white people. That has been so noted. Now, my generation is not driving the delineation movement, even though they understand it and many agree with it. But it's the youngsters that have drawn the line in the sand. I listen to the conversations on some of these podcasts, and I'm sort of flabbergasted by immigrants calling into Black Americans' platforms mad because Black Americans are delineating, asking questions like, well, what is the end game? And they have to tell you there is no end game. This is a lineage, and we are standing on business, and we are protecting our culture and what we stand for. And they are hostile. They're angry. They are angry and they're questioning us and telling us we're not Americans and you're an African, even though when we were calling ourselves Africans, they said, no, you're not an African. You weren't born in Africa. You've been in America for hundreds of years. You're an American. But now all of a sudden, we're Africans. And they're trying to pretend, some of them are even pretending that they're FBA, and it's all sorts of things that's going on. So to me, if you're so proud of your culture, you're so proud of your language, you're so proud of your homeland, although you're not proud enough to stay over there and protect it, why are you concerned about what some other group of black people that you really don't know call themselves? Why are you concerned about that? So that is the question that I have. Out of all the effort that they have gone to brag about how smart they are, how many degrees they have, how hard they work, their homeland, their language, a language that's irrelevant to the world, those languages that they speak don't even carry any weight in their own country, because most of those African countries' national language is a European language, English or French or Portuguese or something that they speak in some white country. But they claim that, oh, that's their culture, that's the bedrock of their culture, their language, when everybody knows that's a joke. But that's something they try to use on black Americans because loss of language was part of the collateral damage of slavery. We lost our language, but we speak the language that the world transacts business with, whereas those languages that they speak are not even really relevant in their homeland outside of that little village of however many people in the village speak that language. I wouldn't even be bragging about it, especially considering that I live in Nigeria, for instance, and English is the national language. So we're speaking the enslavers' language and they're speaking the colonizers' language because they can't get anywhere over there if they don't know how to speak English. They also get mad when Black Americans talk about our accomplishments, our inventions, the cultural impact that we've had in the United States and around the world. And it's confusing to me why they would get upset when we talk about the things that we have actually accomplished, because we are not making them up. They're well documented. And since they claim to be so smart and have so many degrees and work so hard, why haven't they created and invented things that are useful to the world, that makes them well known around the world? They claim they were never enslaved, so nothing was stopping them from creating and inventing and inspiring the world and being a force in the world that's respected, as opposed to being people that nobody wants in their country. Black Americans are not responsible for them not knowing how to act and not being wanted anywhere that they go in the world. That's not our fault. Now, here is an example of why Black immigrants are not like us and they don't think like us. My husband had an interaction with a Nigerian on his job. And I know that was just one person, but I think it's indicative of how they behave. And I'm talking about six-figure-a-year jobs. My husband said a Nigerian was on their job and he was harassing the women. The women reported it and they suspended him from his job. When he came back from suspension, my husband and some other black guys invited him out to lunch. They called themselves were going to talk to him, tell him that you can't do things like that in America because we have laws against that. And my husband said he told them that they were just Black Americans. He was a Nigerian, as if the laws didn't apply to him. He went right back to the job doing the same thing. Well, guess what? The next thing he knew, security was walking his ass out of there. But he wasn't able to even listen to black men who understood the system and was trying to tell him what he was doing was wrong and it could get him fired. And they were black men. They didn't want to see a black man losing a six-figure-a-year job. But that is exactly what happened. So you can't even tell them anything. They think they know everything. So bottom line, they have been watched, and they have been watched by the elders of the young people who are online telling them we are delineating and it's non-negotiable. So now they're trying to play crazy like they don't know what's going on, like Black Americans are xenophobic and Black Americans hate Africans and Black Americans are whatever it is they think Black Americans think. But what they don't realize is that they have been under surveillance and didn't know it. And now the verdict has come down. I don't know if there will ever be a meeting of the minds where people have a conversation about how you behave when you come to somebody else's country. If that happens one day, I think that would be very productive. But for now, I think you have to let the process play itself out. But anyway, y'all let me know what you think about this. Thank you for listening and have a good day.